Good morning, everyone. I woke up super early in the morning with the intuition to dowse for water veins on my mother's property. And I could feel that there was one running through our bedroom area, and it was kind of feeling sticky and heavy in that space. And I actually find that I am better at dowsing for water veins telepathically. And so from a distance. So telepathically means from a remote distance. And I could always sense, I'll just show you right here. There's a road here. There's a Saskatoon berry tree growing here, and you can see it's growing at an angle, and that's actually an indication that there can be some kind of off earth energies running beneath the earth. And it is running underneath this beautiful little water fountain, or pond rather, and it is running into the home. And of course, water veins don't run straight. They run in a snake, like meandering fashion, right? Like a river. And I wanted to show you my makeshift pendulum. It's a drill bit, a big, heavy metal drill bit with a rope. And as you can see, I kind of have a twist tie, tying the top, that bit of the rope to the top of the metal so that it can be pointing down, right? So this is my yes, and going back to neutral, and this is my no, counterclockwise. That's typically how I work with pendulums. Neutral is front and back, and then clockwise is a yes, and counterclockwise is a no. Now, on properties, I use pendulums also to show me directions. So, show me the Saskatoon berry tree, and it will show me the direction. You can see that it's slightly thrusting in that direction. It's not just simply going back and forth, it actually has a push to it. So it means, I'm doing it with my head, right? I'm rocking. It's pushing me into that direction, right? And often I find that even sometimes before I ask the question of the direction, because I'm so focused and my mind is thinking about it, the pendulum now automatically shows me that direction. So it's tricky to find water lines because they are meandering. It's easier to find naturally occurring ley lines, right? These are the solar, masculine, yang energy lines that run through the earth and comprise the earth energies, or the earth grids, right? And of course, there are all kinds of other lines, the Hartmann lines, and I don't get into so much of that detail. I'm more focused on the ley lines and the water lines running under the earth. And so when a water line is running into a home, so that's what you need to do. You first need to determine which direction the water is flowing in. And I ask it that, and it is actually, in fact, moving in towards the house. And so those are the water lines that you want to be careful of, and you want to determine, is there any toxicity in the water, any kind of... Honestly, I've been tuning into the fact that some of them can even have trapped souls or entities or energies kind of looming around them as well. It is the darker, receptive yin energy that is hanging about the water lines often. And that can be confusing for some people because water is such a beautiful thing. It brings life, doesn't it? But it is also absorptive, and some insects, many insects, and some animals, and some trees, and some plants love yin energy. So it's not all bad. It's just that it's not good for the human biology, especially not great to sleep over these water lines. So I've been developing and I'm not going to be sharing all of this with you in this video. If you're interested, follow my work at thesacredblueprint.com. I'll share it in the captions below. I'm an architect who bridges spirit with form, and I also harmonize people's properties so that they can birth their dream sanctuaries. Whether it's an existing building or an empty, property without any construction, I support my clients to create the optimal blueprint for their properties. But first, you need to determine if there are any stuck, blocked, detrimental energies that need to be harmonized on the property. And so I just spent a really sweet, beautiful morning. I just got up at sunrise, harmonizing the water line that runs, let me go in that direction, under the tree and meanders here and is meandering into the home. You can kind of get a sense that there's one side of a home typically that is darker in energy. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just that it's darker than the other side of the home. And I haven't doused for the other water lines, and my sense is it's not important. My intuition is that this is the main water line that needed to be harmonized. And there are so many different techniques for harmonization. You can use rebar metal rods and actually drive them into the earth. This is what the more traditional geomancers use, the acupuncture technique. And I'm finding that to be challenging, especially when you're on a construction site. And any kind of physical intervention may potentially get bulldozed or dug up or moved. There are techniques where you insert copper spiral rods. There are techniques where you can create some kind of a stone circle. There are all kinds of techniques that require physical objects to harmonize. And I'm finding that very challenging because of this thing of construction. Or maybe, there's an ideal spot to do this acupuncture point, but there's already maybe a stone path, right, on that, or a sidewalk, right? So in that case, it doesn't work. So as we evolve, as our consciousness expands, we have the capacity to use thought forms. We have the capacity to co-create with the etheric realms, co-create with light beings, with angelic beings, with the nature spirits, to actually call upon energetic forms in the etheric to be inserted and placed on that water line to harmonize it, and to set the intention that it lasts for a certain amount of time. Now, the thing with also redirecting or siphoning off the yin water line energy, okay, it doesn't mean that you're actually blocking the water flow. You're just harmonizing the overly depleting energies that are passing under the home. And you need to find the location out on the edge of the property. It's kind of like you want to turn off the faucet of energy, all right, at that point. And so I chose the point actually right out on the other side of this Saskatoon berry tree out on the sidewalk. I've also done another point actually more in and close to my mother's home. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that those energies are directed either down deep into the womb of Mother Gaia so she can digest them and transform them and transmute them, or I've been tending to actually send them up to the cosmos, back to the one. Because the problem with just the acupuncture technique is that it can actually get dispersed out onto the neighboring properties or elsewhere. So you need to be really conscious about where that energy gets directed and co-create that healing process with the subtle realms, with the nature spirits, with the angelic beings, with the light beings in the cosmos. When I say light beings and angelic beings, it's actually the same thing for me. So what I have been, just to wrap this up, what I have been receiving from the angelic realm is beautiful forms, three-dimensional sacred geometries and light language inscribed into these forms. And they are guiding me to visualize through my imagination that they are growing out of the points of acupuncture that I am visualizing with my imagination. Our imagination is an incredible tool that you can use for healing, you can use for creating the most incredible blueprints, you can use for changing your world, bringing more abundance into your life, bringing more creativity into your life, bringing more flow and vitality into your life and into your property. So the next step I'm feeling is to actually paint it and to draw it in a journal, a sketchbook, the forms that I received, because that's also another way of anchoring the healing work, the harmonization work. All right. And the crow has, flew by. I think that's a good time to end this video. So, yes. By the way, pendulums do not need to be fancy. You can use a carrot on a string. I once used a shoelace with a stone. My older pendulum with a crystal is actually, it's kind of unraveled and it's just feeling like it needs an upgrade. So I didn't even bring it with me. And so this has done a beautiful job. Thank you, pendulum. Makeshift pendulum.